Yo, it's me, Dom. Hey, you only got one shot. Believe that. You only have one shot at this. You only have one shot at this life. You only have one shot at this decade of... What the freak was that? At this decade or age you're in. So if you're in your 20s, you only have one shot in your 20s. If you're in your 30s, you only have one shot in your 30s. If you have one shot, or you're in your 40s. So my freaking motivation or whatever to say to you is, man, take advantage. And take advantage if you're super young. I just been... This is the discipline. This ain't no Eminem song. This ain't no Mom Spaghetti. This is literally what it is. And it's just like, I'm telling you, it's going by so freaking quick. And I'm just seeing it. And it's just crazy because back then I felt like it went so slow. But now, to me, at least my perception of time, it's just snapping. It's just going so freaking fast. And it's really crazy to me, because most of us, probably a lot of us, live for the weekend. We live for the weekend, and we live for what? Till the end, till we can enjoy ourselves, right? And it's just like, you don't need to live that way. And you're like, how? I got bills, I got kids, I got food stamps, I got whatever. It's just like, man, you just gotta make the most of everything. How do we start with that, man? And it's just, you build this life by, man, you gotta freaking, like, I'm not gonna work until I'm 65 or 60 or 50. Like, maybe till 50 something, maybe, just because I'm bored. But my mindset at 21 is that's not gonna be me. I'm not gonna be tied to something I don't enjoy. And it's just like, a lot of people want to chase their passion, but it's just like, bills gotta be paid no matter what. That's always first priority. So it's just like, how do we get to this point? Man, you get to this point, you break out of this matrix by stop trying to impress people you don't like, by stop trying to, take on more debt than you can handle. And that's just my advice, because everything I've learned, my whole mindset is just completely different. I don't think I'm a natural 21-year-old in this town. I'm not. I don't think I'm with the crowd. Like, I'm not better than anyone. I'm just choosing to not go the natural way of just what everyone is doing. You know what I mean? And if I just had to say something, it would just be like, short-term sacrifices for the long-term gain, for the long-term discipline, for the long-term life that will actually absolutely be amazing. And it took a lot of money, it took a lot of pain, grief for me to completely break out of that freaking headspace, that mindset, that consumerism, that consumption of just so much people, because we're brought up to think that whatever you have to show means you're doing well for yourself, whenever in reality, the people who have the least to show, and the people who really don't have anything to show, and the people who are quiet and aren't showing off or really care, are the ones doing the best. And it's just like, that was always me. I was always quiet. I was always not down here, but I was always doing my own thing. I was always, no matter what. And it's just like, why did I try to fit in with people I don't even know? People, why did I try to show off? Why did I try to get validation that doesn't even matter? So it's just, there's no point. What do you gain from that? I'm not gaining money. I'm not gaining back freedom, my life, time. And it's just like, man, you're 21, you're so young. No, because if you start early, you're gonna literally be ahead of everyone else. And I'm sorry to say, if you're over 40 or 50, I'm just telling you, a lot of people don't reach this point until way down the road, and they realize they literally have to work forever or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, work isn't bad, but being forced to wake up or being forced to do something because you have to get by is just not the type of lifestyle I'm really interested in. And it's just like, man, I'm not trying to follow that. I'm not trying to follow that and be that way. And even if you are over that age, you still have time to change. The best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. These are spitting some wisdom, some facts. But the next best time is today. it's never too late to change. It's never too late to pursue anything else, you know, because if work takes up 40 years average, then it's just, man, I'm not gonna do that. Like, I want to do so much other things than just be stagnant. This is why I'm talking about that growth mindset. This is why I'm talking about that wealthy mindset. This is why I'm talking about that non-consumer, that investor mindset, because most people in this world, basically almost anyone, if it's not the internet, because the internet is just filled with so much people. And why do we get filled up with that consumerism mindset anyway? Because of ads, because of all these billboards, because of freaking commercials, TVs. They want your data and all this stuff, and it's just, I'm blocked, I'm isolated from any of that stuff. And unconsciously, subconsciously, we compare ourselves, you know. Even me, like, I'm probably doing much more better than an average 21-year-old, but I don't feel like I am. I don't feel like I am because I subconsciously compare myself to someone freaking on the internet who don't even know me, someone who's literally probably one percentage, and it's just, they're not even, their life isn't as perfect as it seems anyway. And it's just, I just want to tell you that, you know, I want to give you that advice because I'm an actual real person. I actually do have a job, and I actually do go to school, and I actually do a lot more things, you know what I mean? And it's just, and like, this is for real stuff. This ain't entertaining. This is not fun to watch. This is not, no, this is straight up real things in the actual real world, because I'm facing it. This is me facing it. And a lot of people just put up a front, and it's just like, it's not really like that. I'm telling you the truth. It's not really like that. And you may not have already clipped off the video because whatever I'm speaking, but it's just, no, this is the actual stuff you need to hear. This is the actual stuff that will knock you the freak loose and try to get your life right in whatever fashion. Like, you don't need to eat that much. I really find it, the reason we do our things is because we're wired for short-term survival. We're really wired for, are we gonna live tomorrow? Are we gonna have food tomorrow? It's all in our brain. You know, the one thing that's bad with me is I do a lot of snacking, or I used to do a lot of snacking, like vending machine stuff at work, because I don't be eating, and that's terrible for me. But vending machine snacking, or like little chocolate, like little those things, but that's not gonna keep me from being rich, right? Like, that doesn't matter. What's gonna keep you from being rich is debt, is all these car payments, is that monthly house bill, is that high ass insurance premium, is that's what's gonna keep you back, right? And if I'm already being disciplined on these little short-term dopamine hits, that I'm just staying away from that. Because if I just question it, if I just think, wait, do I really want this? Wait, if I eat this and then I feel good about it right now, am I gonna still feel that way? No, I'm not. And it's just short term. And I try to fill it with the biggest dopamine hit of it all, a freaking sports car. And I figured out, and it knocked me loose whenever I learned that still doesn't fulfill me. So I'm completely whole mindset conformed to get out of this headspace about everyone. And I feel like I'm going crazy, but I'm not. I'm just choosing to do my own thing. And so I really think it just goes back to that, is that short-term survival, that we think we need something, and it just hits our brain loose. It makes you feel good for a little bit, but your happiness goes back to a stagnation. Happiness is not having all these validation, all this stuff. Happiness is true contentment. Happiness is true being okay with what you have. And I'm young and I'm realizing all this, and it's just, you know, the ironic part of that, you're going to become wealthy. You're going to become rich, because the more you save and the more you invest, you're just going to become rich. And it's just, this is actual rich and wealth speaking. What the hell? They got a scream mask on their freaking head. Yeah. But it's just like you can't get to this point. I can't knock you out of that because you're still in that consumer, that wanting to get stuff mindset. Because it took me so much to get out of that mindset into this. And it's crazy. And it's just like, man, it sucks. And it holds us back. There's so much information on the internet about just so much things, and you can learn for free. And it's just, man, I love that. I freaking love that. I freaking love learning. I freaking love wisdom. and all this stuff. And it's just like, why isn't everybody like this? It's because they don't want to try. It's because they're comfortable. It's because, you know, and then that's why they end up with the life they get 30, 20 years down the road, still doing the same thing, or 20, 30 years down the road, you know, they still can't find time to actually enjoy things, or I don't know. And you can have it all and you still won't be happy. Money is a tool. Money is only gonna freaking, what is it called? It's gonna appeal? No, it's gonna increase what you already have. If I'm already lonely, isolated, sad, no social life, when I have way more digits, when I have way more commas, it's just gonna increase that. Like, not increase that, but I'm just gonna be the same person, but just more commas and zeros and whatever. That's all it is. I'm detached from money, like, and I could say that because obviously I don't have a lot of expenses or whatever, and it's just easy for me to say, and it's just, that's just my advantage. That's just my life. That's what I'm saying. Somewhere in your life, you have an advantage. Somewhere in your life, you can cut back on something. Somewhere in your life, you can expand yourself. It's never too late. And we don't do that. You don't do that because it's hard, because it takes a long time, because you want short-term dopamine to feel good about yourself. When in reality, if you just change your mindset and just be more disciplined, you're going to get to wherever you want to be. Savings goal, workout goal, fitness goal, anything. It's so long-term thinking, and that's how it is. That's how you need to think if you truly want to change, if you truly want better for your life and everything. You can't expect things to just happen in an instant. And it's just, that's just my thoughts and everything, man. And it's just, man, I love long-term thinking, but the problem with that is you can get caught up in this mindset and stop living in the present, because you're so excited about the future. And that's something I'm facing right now, is because, like, man, the future is so bright, the future is so, and life can still happen, things, a lot of stuff can happen, but it's always better to be planning. It's always better to be planning. All this stuff can be read from the Bible, you know what I mean, from Proverbs, from all this information, because it's just human nature, and it's just basic common sense. And it's just, to me, it's common sense, but to the average viewer, or to the average person, it's not common sense at all. It's not common sense at all. So it's just, if I had to tell you some wisdom or something to speak, this is what I would say. And you can take it from whatever, you can use that advice for anything or not. I don't really care, because it's your own life. But if you were to implement it into your life, man, I promise, I almost low-key guarantee you'll see a lot of change. You'll see a lot of change, for real. And there's just so much to deal with this. So that's my take. You only got one shot. Make the most of it. Make the most of it, for sure.